Hi everyone, how you doing? Rev Paul here from Trinity Anglican Church in Cambridge, Ontario, and from the Sent, God's Church Deployed, with this week's Message from the Truck. Good to see you all this week as we are a day away from St. Patrick's Day. What a fantastic opportunity for a little celebration and revelry. I'm sure lots of you will be partaking in some St. Patrick's Day events over the course of this weekend. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all, and please do be safe out there, whatever particular party you're participating in. This week is also the last Sunday that's numbered in the season of Lent. We still have Palm Sunday, of course, next week, so we're still a couple of weeks away from Easter, but we are certainly getting our way there. Just wanted to share a couple of reflections with you here this morning, as well as some announcements for the community. I'll get to those announcements in just a minute or two, but first of all, I wanted to share something with you that happened to me this week with the Big Red Truck. So the Big Red Truck and I hopped in the truck one morning this week, and fortunately, my fantastically fancy electronic gadgets and gizmos all popped up with a flashing yellow light to say there was a problem with one of the tires on the truck. So I did a wander around, and as sure enough, one of the tires was a little bit low, and I happened to be fortunate enough to have a couple of tools in the garage, so I pumped that tire back up to a safe level of inflation, and we made our way down to the local Canadian Tire store. Not that Canadian Tire is sponsoring this message or anything like that, but just to share that we went to a Canadian Tire, and sadly, my snow tire has a screw in the sidewall of the tire. Now, for most of you, that won't mean anything, but anybody who knows anything about tires will know that a screw in the sidewall means it can't be fixed, it can't be patched, it can only be replaced. So woe is me as I thought to myself in the middle of March, this is not the time of year to be buying snow tires. So I thought to myself, that's all right. I can put on my seasonal tires and put on my summer tires, my all seasons, and I'll be okay with that. But I struggled with that a little bit because it's not time yet. Don't you know that you have to wait until after the 31st of March before you switch your snow tires? Because there's still always that possibility of another snowstorm that doesn't fit my timeline. And if you know anything about me and vehicle maintenance and my previous career working in the trucking biz, I like to stick to schedules when it comes to things like maintenance on my vehicles. So it is really messing with my mind, the idea that something is out of my control, something that has happened beyond anything that I could have done, something has happened that has caused my schedule to have to change, and I don't like it. I like things being done when they're supposed to be done in the schedule that I determined they're going to be done. So if I get to church on Sunday morning and I haven't yet changed to my seasonal tires for the summer, I assure you that's happening Sunday afternoon when I get home from church and I've got myself a couple of hours to get out into the driveway and do some work. But I share this story with you today, not because I'm hoping any of you might happen to have the right size snow tire to be able to put on the Big Red Truck. But more importantly, I want to share this with you because I've had a number of people over the course of my vocation as a priest and just my Christian journey who have said to me, I don't understand the power of prayer. I don't understand how prayer works. I prayed for something and it didn't happen for me, or I prayed for something and it didn't happen in the timeline that I decided that it ought to have happened. And I know there are lots of times in life where that happens, whether it's prayer for healing for a loved one, that we don't see that healing take place the way that our timeline, our schedule would make it make sense, or plead for prayer for a new job or a new home or whatever it happens to be, health for a child, any of those kinds of things. And we find ourselves sometimes getting down on that and saying, well, I wonder if prayer really works. I wonder if there is actually value to this conversation with God that I have. And I think it's really important for us to put into context sometimes the fact that our prayers are not necessarily answered in the timeline that we were hoping they would be. And that can be really challenging for us. Or maybe they're not answered in the way that we think the answer should be happening. I know there are lots of times when I've prayed for something and it hasn't happened in time, and I've found myself frustrated or angry even with the fact that God didn't respond the way that I thought that he should. And then I'm reminded of many places in Scripture, particularly where Jesus says it is not our understanding of time that matters, but it's God's understanding of time. God does answer all prayer. God does respond to everything that we ask, but not necessarily always in the timeline that we would hope that it would be done. And that can be really challenging for us, particularly when you're like me and you like things being done on a certain particular timeline, like my snow tires coming off too early. So I share that with you today, hoping that you might find just a little bit of, well, for lack of a better term, a little bit of comfort in the idea that all prayers are answered. God does hear everything that we ask of him, everything that we share with him, just not necessarily always on the timeline that we were anticipating or hoping that it might. I leave that with you today as we continue to reflect and consider what are those things in life that we think should happen in a certain way, that sometimes life or God has a different plan. And how do we work in that plan to make sure it all comes together for an understanding for ourselves? Well, I'm going to leave that with you. I've got a number of announcements to share. Oh, my goodness, there are so many things going on in the church. It is fantastic. Let's see. We've got this particular Sunday, of course, as I said, it is the sixth Sunday in Lent, as we gather here on the 17th of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day again. But we've got the second Sunday on the third Sunday luncheon. Bill and George and their team, are going to be providing for us a luncheon after worship on Sunday morning on the 17th. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that luncheon. I believe, if I recall right, it is sausages and baked beans. Sounds like a good combination, but we'll be sharing in that. Let's see what else is going on this week. I know that we've got From the Pews to the Pub is happening on Wednesday. If you haven't already signed up for that in the church office, please make sure you do so. Connect with Barb there and let her know that you're wanting to be part of that on Wednesday at 6:00. Let's see, what else have we got? We have, I know that the Altar Guild is getting together. I just found out that the Chancel Guild, is going to be getting together on Thursday evening. I believe it's 6:00, but it might be 7:00, for palm cross folding. So if you've never folded a palm cross before, it's a great chance to learn. If you've done it many times, a great chance to teach as we come together and fold up our palm crosses for next Sunday as we prepare for Palm Sunday. This coming Saturday, Saturday we have a social event at the church. The social club is hosting a card and games afternoon starting at 2:00 with a bit of a dinner following that. Sunday, the ACW is hosting their annual Palm Sunday bake sale. Sunday evening, there's going to be our Holy Week kickoff movie event. That's going to be folks joining with me at 7:00 on Sunday evening to watch Facing the Giants. If you've never watched it before, fantastic movie, very inspirational movie. It is good for everyone from preteen right up to 90, 95, 100 years old. So no matter how old you are, this is a great movie to be able to come together and watch. We're going to watch that as we kick off our Holy Week journey. And then, of course, Holy Week, if you haven't already looked, check your bulletin for that. There is so much information coming up in Holy Week. I don't want to even try to get started because I'm sure I'll miss something. But lots of stuff going on, lots of things for you to continue to consider as we continue our Lenten journey. We're not out of the gate yet, or we're not out of the woods yet. The opening of the gate and the celebration of Easter, just a couple of weeks away, but we're not quite there yet. So for right now, I would encourage you again to remember that, some things happen on our schedule, a rather jammed schedule this week, and sometimes things don't work out the way we thought they should. But we know that they're always being watched by God, that we're always on God's schedule. And we give thanks that he continues to watch over us and care for us as we continue our journeys together. But for right now, my friends, the sun is coming out. It looks like it's time for me to go and take on the rest of the day. May you keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Blessings to you all from this week's Message from the Truck. Bye for now.